Hello and welcome. My name is Kevin. This is Stu for Bruce. We're here in CK3 once more with you all for another time lapse for Time Lapse Week. This time we've gone ahead and divided the map up into 3 worlds. We have NATO as the first world, we have Warsaw Pact as the second world, and the neutral countries as the third world, all based off this nice little Wikipedia image. We've also gone ahead and given them their own custom faiths and cultures, and each one of them is run by a immortal 100 stat character who has 3 generations of immortal stat characters in the wings. So if one of them dies, that doesn't mean it's completely over just yet. They could probably just take over next. Predictions. First and foremost, I have a sneaking suspicion that the Warsaw Pact is going to absolutely crush NATO. Without the United States involved, they don't have that industrial power to back them up. The neutral countries, I have a feeling, will probably stay either ally themselves to NATO or Warsaw Pact, one or the other, and then they'll probably just stay allied to them for most of the game just because they have that immortal. Finally, out of the 9 immortal characters, I think only 3 of them will still be kicking, mostly probably from the neutral countries. With that out of the way, let's see what will happen. I'll see you in a bit. Here we are, about 394 years in the future, and it looks like, for the most part, a lot of things have stayed pretty much the same. Obviously, the neutral countries look pretty much about the same. Warsaw Pact has picked up a decent amount of land, and poor NATO is living their life in exile in Iceland, as well as Northern Ireland, apparently. But let us look around the map and see what's going on. There are some random nations that seem to have, for whatever reason, popped out. I'm unsure why the AI has tried to not take those over, because technically they own those lands with, yeah, they should control all of that land. So I'm not sure why they haven't vassalized those small counties, but they have not. Of our predictions, it looks like the Warsaw Pact, the second world, is probably king with about how many? Yeah, with 1,600 counties next to about 878 counties, and then poor NATO has only about 7 counties left. They're living in exile in Iceland, waiting for the Americans to show up and save their bacon. That I see. Let's go through our religion, and it looks like we've had some interesting developments. So looks like a lot of the original faiths have somewhat converted. Looks like the non-aligned movement is the only one that seems to have kept most of its cohesion. Communism has split back into its older faiths, as well as it looks like democracy has been overshadowed by Christianity, or has been overshadowed by Catholicism once again. I wonder what brought that about. Maybe just the lack of fervor has made it become such. As for culture, looks like our Butra has popped out in the neutral environment, but looks like for the most part, a lot of the areas stayed capitalist or communist. there is some little bit of change. I feel like the Outer Hebrides, every time, for whatever reason, this area, they're just like, we're gonna make our own version of it. The Mallorcans did the same. Yeah, some Sardinians popping out, but for the most part, everybody else stayed communist or some version of their original thing, unless it was a random spawning event. Like, I'm surprised the Sicilians didn't make their own thing. After that, we can look at culture, or languages, Slavic, Arabic, English, good stuff. Development, I feel like every time the same. Let's look and see what really went wrong with NATO. I have a feeling it's that their rulers lost their lives. Okay, so this is our original dude. He died under suspicious circumstances. I imagine if I load it into one of the other people, I can find out what's going on. Then his son, who took over and ruled for 30, like, no time at all. He's 1066. This dude dies essentially right off the bat. He gets gatted. This guy ruled for a little less than 200 years. And then he finally got murdered by actually one of the other immortals. Yes, this boy. Boy looked to have quite the body count. So that's what happened. Their immortals got. As for these ones, it looks like his son and his son are alive. But let's load into this character and see how many people he killed. Looks like just this one, and doesn't look like the other one was killed by him. So he didn't do that. As for the Warsaw Pact, it looks like they had grandfather was also murdered. Oh, so sad. Took the big dead himself, and then this one was murdered by some random dude, and then finally one of the last has been ruling the Warsaw Pact for so long. Let's see how long has he been in power? Since 1203, so 400 and some odd years he's been in control of the Warsaw Pact. I wonder if we could see his kill count, if it had anything to do with any of the NATO people. I also realized that if by making it one kingdom, it was easier for them to just gobble up. I kind of liked it that way, but maybe it would have been more advantageous to have made the kingdoms a bunch of smaller kingdoms, like NATO Germany and NATO Lowlands and NATO France and NATO Spain or something like that, if I had done it that way, so that they then all rolled up into one, the NATO empire. I liked making the custom capitalism and neutral and communism, as well as the custom faiths were a fun addition to do. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, have a good rest of your day. We'll have another episode of Timelapse Week tomorrow. Ciao.